Okay, hey everyone, so welcome to another rambling video. Once again, I haven't got anything to work on. I did get a good stat combination on my new octa-core controller for the Xenon, where I've just been tracking random Meister cubes that I've been getting from elite bosses, and I got a really good combination. It is 21% attack with 20% boss. I think it's a good combination to keep. I haven't worked out what my overall balance is going to be with my weapon, secondary, and emblem at the moment. I know I've got percent attack on my Android heart, not the Android heart, the Xenon heart that you have as the emblem. So I'm not really sure the exact combination that I want to go for. I need to sit down and have a look at the character fully geared with the correct link skills to see what the overall boss and PDR combination ends up being as it stands, because I don't have, I'm just looking at my arcane whip at the moment. Well, I've got a lot of PDR and boss on my arcane whip, so maybe it does end up being the right combination to have, where I've got enough PDR on the whip and then I just get the extra bonus attack on the controller. So I was angry at myself for not recording it when I got the stat on it, but I'm happy to get the stat anyway, and I got it fairly cheaply. The only thing I really need to work on that secondary now is the bonus potential, which I will get around to doing a video on. I'm trying to work out what I'm doing with my meso as well at the moment, because especially with the way the economy is with the meso rate to NX Maple points rate, I'm just trying to spend it wisely. Like, I am getting a fairly decent amount from doing just grinding as I am. As you saw in that clip there, I'm currently 81%, nearly 274. So I think by this time next week I should be 274, and then give myself another 3 weeks or so, and I should be able to get to 275, and then we'll be on to the next chapter. So that'll be pretty exciting. So I'm getting some decent meso there. I've been using some of it to buy some enjoyable winters, because especially this week I only worked 3 days this week because I was required to take a few days off due to the pandemic. I was actually supposed to take it off in May, but we were too busy at work, so I ended up taking it off now. I might be taking another few days because I think I was supposed to take a full week off in May like I did in April. But that didn't end up happening, but I'll see how things stand. So as a result, I had those 2 extra days off, so I ended up pretty much using all of my Legion and my Dojo EXP coupons in 2 days, instead of, normally they last me, because I do about 2 to 3 hours a night, they tend to last me till about Thursday before I run out, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I normally have to use a combination of enjoyable winters plus whatever I can get from the Monster Park boxes on Sunday. So at the moment I'm using the last of the Monster Park ones, because it is Sunday at the moment. So I've gone through 7 of them. I got 3 2x and 4 1.5, which is a fair ratio, I'd say, a fair balance. So just pushing along. I just really want to gun towards it. I feel like 274 is going to go fairly quickly, because I know it's the last time around the track, and then we're done with the character for that. And even just while I've been grinding, in between all of that, I've been playing the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I had Sword and Shield. Shield is my main game that I've put about, I'd say about 150 hours in, I want to say. That's shiny farming and a whole bunch of other things, completing the Pokedex. I'm actually surprised how much I've actually really been into that game. It's the first... it's certainly the largest amount of time I put into any Pokemon game before. Maybe it's because it's a big addition to the Switch, and it's a main console game more than anything else. So I've been doing that. I just finished the DLC for Sword this morning. I feel like it's worth the money. Especially, I tend to value things by the amount of time that you end up putting into it. So for Australia, I think it was like $45 to buy, and that's for both parts, so for the Isle of Armor and then the Crown Tundra after that. So I feel like I've spent, I'd say, at least 3 or 4 hours on the story in both games in terms of, you know, grinding and doing other things and just exploring the place. So yeah, it, you know, you have to put a dollar value on everything in terms of what you do, but there's other games that I've bought, I feel like I've said this before, where there's other games that I've bought where I've spent probably an hour or two on them and then gotten sick of them and never played them again, so I consider that a waste of money. But this is, yeah, I'm really excited for the second part to come out, and I should be done with 275 by the time that part comes out, so I can spend more time on it. And yeah, so like even just doing that, it got me to thinking. There's a few components to this chain of thought that I really want to explore, but what really happens to everything that we've been working on in regards to MapleStory when it reaches the end of the line. You know, ideally I'd like to think that I'd lose interest and stop playing the game before it goes the way of MapleStory 2, but I realized the other day that I'm 27 now, and I started playing this game when I was 13. I started playing in June 2006, which I feel is a time that a lot of people started playing. Like, there's quite a few YouTubes out there when they talk about when they first started playing. I think there was a big marketing push in 2006 in the middle of in that summer for America and or winter for Australia, but there was a big push and a lot of people came to the game then. So yeah, so pretty much half my life this game has been associated with me, so I'm not really sure when it's going to come to an end. It always seems to be coming back to me. You know, once you play, you always end up coming back. But yeah, what happens to all of this when North America, global MapleStory comes to an end? You know, the main thing that's really been sparking that thought is, and this is the exact polar opposite situation where it's almost too popular in one server, but the drama surrounding the Double Miracle Time for Reboot, you know, the absolute, I don't really want to put a bad word on it, but just how messed up that was, how they just really, they couldn't get it right. It was obvious from the get-go that whatever they were going to do wasn't going to fix it, because they weren't doing the proper thing of, like, I think the 24-hour thing might have been a bit extreme. I don't really, well, it would have been interesting to see how, like, putting it on for 24 hours instead of the 3 hours that they were going to do in terms of an hour at each point of the day. But I'm not sure how practical the 24 hours would have been, whether it would have been as laggy or whether it would spread everything out. But yeah, I know Reddit's not the be-all and end-all of public opinion, but reading posts on there this week about how people are getting sick and fed up with it and they're leaving because of it, you know, it's bad to see. And then you see the people putting jokes on there saying, oh, it's sad to see you go, but at least it'll be a little bit less laggy with less people there. But it just gets me to thinking, you know, like I look at the amount of time that I've invested into Pokemon's Shield in terms of all the investment, all the effort, working towards a goal like you do in this game where you're grinding, you know, essentially finishing the Pokedex and shiny hunting. That's still a version of grinding. But with that save file is with me for life unless something bad happens and I lose my Switch or I delete it by accident, or, you know, something happens. You know, obviously everything can be lost in one way or another, but with this sort of thing where you've put so much time and so much effort into a game like this, and there are other games that you can sort of relate the same common thought to. So Grand Theft Auto Online comes to mind. You know, I've got a profile on there. I've been playing that since 2013 on and off. I haven't bought a shark card, thank God. You know, I haven't spent any real money on the game other than buying 3 copies of it when I went from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 to PC, and I'll probably get one for the next PlayStation 5 when that comes out. But yeah, it's just like, what happens to these online avatars that we've created once either the company goes broke, they turn the servers off, you know, it all just disappears and then you no longer have access to that. And I find, especially at this point, because I feel very attached to this character that I'm, you know, getting to 275, because obviously I did the road to 250 with it as well. And there's other characters that I've made over the years. I think this account was made in like 2008 or 2009. And there's lots of memories here. You know, there's the Perma Pink Bean that I got, which is like my first real big item that I got out of the mystery boxes when they first released the Pink Bean pet, and a whole bunch of other things. But yeah, so while I can create content for YouTube that I can probably look back on, I do from time to time. Like I watched my Jet videos from 2011, 2012 when I was playing that character, and it was nice to see all of those things. But yeah, what happens to these things that we've spent so much time working on? Does Nexon release a offline mode of the game where you can just log on to your account and continue to do stuff with a frozen version of the game where they aren't creating any more content for it? They've turned the servers off. I don't really know how you'd go about getting that save file, but is that something that they would do, or does it just end and then go the way of MapleStory 2 where you're no longer able to access it? Because it's not like, I know MapleStory 2 is still going on in Korea, so they didn't move anyone's accounts over there. I don't even think they provided the option to do something like that, but is that something that they would do for GMS? I know that there's different equips and there would be a whole range of issues in considering something like that, but given that people have spent so much time working on a game like this since it's been out since 2006, and it's amazing that it's kept on going, but there's 14 years of content here that people have worked on, so what happens when it all comes to a close? So I know that we all need to move on in our life, but I feel like it would be the type of thing where, and the same thing goes for Grand Theft Auto Online, it's like I get the itch sometimes to go on Grand Theft Auto Online and see what's changed, and if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and they turn off that aspect of it, do I lose access to that character? That's something that I spend time thinking about sometimes, just because, you work on things like the Pokedex in Sword and Shield and in other games, because that's been a massive series of games that I've played since I was like 6 years old. But yeah, it's interesting. So, if anyone watching this, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it as well. But yeah, that's really what's rattling around my brain at the moment. Other things that have been happening, not much, to be honest. Just been working, grinding. Yeah, I did get back into. It's funny, like I have been pretty into Sword and Shield as I've been talking about it, but I've actually gotten back into the trading card game as well for it. So this is something where I remember as a stupid kid, I used to buy single booster packs of the cards and try and collect certain things that I thought was rare and all of that. I came across a box of my old stuff at my parents' house at the start of the year when I went. This is what really sparked getting back into the trading card game. That, and that I watch Unlisted Leaf as well, who does great content. But yeah, I found some old cards that I'd filed away in a binder, and yeah, then the Sword and Shield TCG came out. I think it was either the start of this year. Yeah, I think it was the start of this year. So yeah, I went about, like, I wanted to complete that set, like the base set. I haven't bought anything for the extra ones that they've released, but that's been pretty cool as well. And again, that's something tangible that you can hold, that you get to keep for life if you look after it, and that's pretty much what I plan on doing. Like, I don't want to go overboard with the money that I'm spending on it, but it's something that I think it interests me. I'm a hoarder, I'm a collector. It's something that I've just there's a little bit of a thrill that I guess comes with the same with cubing, where you don't know what you're going to get when you open a booster pack. And like, I opened a booster pack, I had this I've got pretty much a booster box that I got probably about 3 months ago, where I've just been, every time I feel like opening a booster pack, I'll pull out a booster pack and open one. And had this real itch to open one on Friday afternoon, and I opened it and I got a gold Zamazenta card, which I thought was really cool. So it was, it was just nifty that that was the thing that I pulled out of it, and that's probably the rarest card that I've pulled out of any sort of trading card box before. And I'm not going to sell it or anything. I'll just put it in a sleeve and then put it in the binder, and I want to find the gold Zacian one as well. So yeah, it's just a little side hobby thing, just collecting all of that. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Have you guys considered what happens to everything if you're still playing GMS, or if you're playing any other online game, like World of Warcraft, Grand Theft Auto Online, Red Dead Online, anything like that, where obviously we do own the account, but we don't own the game itself, where if the servers do go offline, then I guess we don't have access to it anymore unless there's a company that will just keep the servers running. I'm not sure how expensive it is because I know absolutely nothing about that side of the world with how expensive server upkeep and all of it is. But is that something that happens where, you know, the servers just keep on running and they don't release content anymore and they just maintain the game, and, you know, there's the small amount of whales that just keep the game going? I'm not sure, but interesting to think about. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will get back to doing cubing videos and everything else. Just yeah, I'm really just one track minded at the moment. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.